Hey guys, I'm Darknesspork and welcome to another review. So today I'm going to be reviewing episode 1 of Trigun. If you don't know what this is, it is a western anime, and no, I don't mean like the culture, I mean like the actual Wild West, following a man named Vash the Stampede, who has a whopping 60 billion double dollar bounty on his head. Why? I have no clue. Now before I go any further, I'd just like to place a massive spoiler warning right here. There are spoilers for this episode ahead, so if you want to go in blind, please stop right here. With that out of the way, let's get to the review. So, the episode starts off in a bar, where we're introduced to two fine fellows who are having a conversation about Vash. Now they're saying that he was recently in Town, where he completely leveled the place. It is worth mentioning that at this point, that the music fits the setting perfectly. I mean, just take a listen to this. It's a perfect tune to go along with the Wild West setting.
Built himself a mansion of wood.
Guy sounds plain crazy.
In true anime fashion, it then shows who is clearly supposed to be the main character, Vash, sitting at a table near them. Common trope to use, but hey, it's quite effective. Now, the conversation that these two ruffians are having turns a bit darker here, with them saying that Vash has killed women and children and that he really doesn't care. Now, I don't know about you, but that paints a pretty grim picture in my head, which is why I was immediately expecting a very dark and serious anime. So look, at this point, the bar is attacked by some goons with what appears to be the most excessive boomerang I have ever seen. We then get to see the amazing luck that Vash seems to have, where these goons start putting what must be hundreds of bullets into that bar, completely destroying everything, except of course from our friend and ally Vash, who sits there calmly drinking what I'm going to assume is gin. We then get to watch an amazing scene that makes Vash look like a total badass, before we get a cut. Thank you for that, anime. The cut in question takes us to a brief scene that shows a bounty hunter looking for Vash. The same scene also hinting that Town was destroyed by those guys with the boomerang rather than by Vash. Of course, only the viewers are made aware of this detail, and the characters are still set on hunting Vash for that massive bounty. Now after we get this scene, we get another scene that introduces more characters. But this scene just felt very unnecessary, to be honest. Like, basically it just shows us two ladies, Meryl and Millie, who work for an insurance company and looking for Vash. Problem is, the scene ruins it by having a completely useless issue with some men in the bar. It just felt odd and it didn't make a lot of sense. So, what is interesting, however, is that when asked, they say that no, they're not after the bounty on his head. So if they're not after the money, then why are they all looking for Vash? Another curiosity is that when they're given a description of Vash, this description resembles Boomerang more than Vash. Curious. At this point, many of you are probably guessing that Vash might actually be innocent, and you know what, that's what I thought as well. That's lucky, because really I didn't want to be stuck with a massive asshole for 20 odd episodes. At this point we cut back to the town, where we see Boomerang and his goons trying to find Vash. Apparently he managed to give them the slip. There's a brief tussle over leadership, but thankfully we get back to Vash quite quickly. And now I know what you're thinking. When we left off, Vash was being all badass, demonstrating his magic powers to dodge bullets. So obviously, he was kicking their asses, yeah? Not so much. What actually happened is that he had no ammo in his gun, ran away, and hid in the sand for a while. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the great and glorious Vash the Stampede.
I thought I was gonna suffocate a minute there.
It's Vash!
Hi there, pardon me. Thanks for nothing, fellas. That was a pretty close one. Almost bought the farm back there. It's actually a miracle that I got away with this.
Actually, I was very pleased with how this was turning out. It started showing that this wasn't actually a very serious show at all, and actually has a lot of humour. I was especially impressed with Vash's voice work. He sounds like he always has a joke at the ready, and honestly, I really appreciate that. Now when Vash is inevitably found again, he continues his trend of running and hiding. This right here, folks, is one terrifying mass murderer. Perhaps the best moment in the entire show follows. Now, look, I'm not going to spoil this, just watch it for yourself.
I'm like a sitting duck over here. I'm defenseless.
Just wow. Nothing more, just wow. After this, a very brief fight ensues, and Vash manages to prove that he cares even about his enemies, and that he excels at being captured. Now that Vash is a captive, and the goons getting ready to head home and collect their bounty, our lovely ladies Meryl and Millie from before arrive, and they go straight up to Boomerang in the most awkward fashion possible and introduce themselves. However, before what I'm going to assume would be a very riveting conversation, they get interrupted by a bounty hunter friend from before, and he's here for Vash. Alas, he thinks that Boomerang is Vash the Stampede, and I mean, who can blame him? In the course of this conversation, Boomerang comes to the conclusion that the bounty hunter is Vash though. Massive gunfight follows. Luckily the girls, and Vash, the real Vash this time, manage to escape in the confusion, and of course the first thing Vash does is eat the girls' food. Since the girls have no clue that they are talking to Vash, they happily tell him what they're up to, while he's eating their donuts, of course. Specifically, they are looking for Vash as they work for an insurance company, and so they want to keep him under surveillance to minimise the amount of damage to property and the such. My only question here is why the hell do they think that Vash would let them when he's supposed to be some sort of mass-murdering psychopath who doesn't care who he kills? Oh well, plot progression and all. The ladies then send Vash back to town to tell them what's happening while they go back up to do their job. In the middle of the gunfight, now that's dedication. Someone really needs to give them a raise, or even just a bulletproof vest. When they arrive back up, they find a quiet scene, but rather than anyone being dead, Boomerang and the bounty hunter have figured out who the real Vash is and have teamed up to kill him. Well, catch him. I mean, killing's probably working too, but oh well. Thus, the girls are tied up and being threatened by Boomerang when our hero, and he really is starting to live up to that name, Vash shows up to do some saving. Oh, and did I mention to demonstrate his magical ability to dodge bullets? Because yeah, that happens. After yet more running away, Vash ends up backed up at the edge of a cliff, with Boomerang closing in. Here, Vash shows us that his power extends to Boomerang's too, as he dodges it to perfection, and then kills Boomerang with the contraption he'd been using to throw the boomerang. I never thought I'd say boomerang so many times in one paragraph. Anyhow, our bounty hunter friend then gets taken away by the flying boomerang. There it is again. At this we see our lovely ladies watching him and saying that it's almost like he is Vash. No duh. What was your first clue? But alas, the girls still don't believe that he is Vash, even when he manages to accidentally send a massive chunk of the cliff, hurtling towards the port town. And that, folks, is the end of the episode. I really enjoyed this episode, because I feel like it really does a good job of setting up the character and it masterfully controls the pacing. Now, I'm not really sold on Meryl or Millie yet. I just feel like they're really unnecessary, but down the line they're probably going to be important characters. So really I just feel like this was a near-perfect first episode, which completely nailed its setting, beautifully set up the characters, and I really can't wait to watch more, because it seems a very promising series with some excellent fight scenes. So thank you guys for watching this review. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to check out more on my blog. So hope you guys have a lovely day. Bye bye.